When it comes to the animals, both the Epic of Gilgamesh and also the Genesis account make mention of the various animals. Last time I read from page 108 of the Epic of Gilgamesh, where it said, "These are the measurements of the bark, as you shall build her. Let her beam equal her length. Let her deck be roofed like the vault that covers the abyss." And after the mention of the abyss, there is the first reference to the animals. "Then take up into the boat the seed of all living creatures." And this reference to creatures or animals is again found in the next page, on page 109. Whenever Utnapishtim and his family and other individuals are going into the boat, it says, "I loaded into her all that I had of gold and of living things, my family, my kin, the beasts of the field, both wild and tame, and all the craftsmen." But the thing that may be surprising is that there are no other references to the animals in the Epic of Gilgamesh. And yet, whenever you take a look at what's found in Genesis, there are references to the animals in a multitude of different places. It says in Genesis chapter 6, verses 19 and 20, "And from every living thing of all flesh you will bring into the ark 2 of every sort, to keep them alive with you. They will be male and female. Of the birds according to their kind, and of the cattle according to their kind, of every creeping thing of the ground according to its kind, 2 of every sort will come to you, to keep them alive." It goes on into chapter 7, verses 2 and 3, where it says, "You will take to you the male and his female, of every clean beast by 7s, and 2 of the beasts that are not clean, male and his female, also of the bird of the heavens by 7s, male and female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth." It then goes on in verses 8 and 9. "Of clean beasts and of beasts that are not clean, and of birds and of everything that creeps upon the ground, there went in 2 by 2 into the ark to Noah, male and female, as God commanded Noah." Whenever they're actually going into the ark, it also says in verse 14, "They and every beast according to its kind, and all the cattle according to their kind, and every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth, according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, every bird of every wing." And so it's speaking of the animals prior to going into the ark and also while they're going into the ark. But what about after the flood happens? What about whenever the flood subsides? Are the animals mentioned again after that? Well, yes, they are. In Genesis chapter 8, verse 1, "And God remembered Noah and all the beasts and all the cattle that were with him in the ark." And then later in the chapter, in verse 18, God speaks to Noah again. He says some things to him. And it says in verses 17 and following, "Bring forth with you every living thing that is with you, of all flesh, both birds and cattle, and every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly on the earth, and be fruitful, and multiply upon the earth. And Noah went forth, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping thing, and every bird, whatever moves upon the earth, according to their families, went forth out of the ark." But having looked at these things, yes, there is the similarity of all the animals, at least the land animals, going into both of the vessels. But the Genesis account has additional details with reference to the male and the female, the clean and unclean, the 2 and the 7s. And because of these things, you can see that there is no need to refer to the Epic of Gilgamesh concerning the animals, just as the case was with the boat itself. But also I like that in the Genesis account, it speaks of the 2 genders. It speaks of the male and female animals, and it speaks of course, by extension, male and female humans, where there is the design of God, and how the animals are able to be fruitful by their respective genders, male and female, just as today humankind can be fruitful and multiply by the 2 genders that we see today. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.